Well, the stage is set here at the Home of Champions for the concluding first four finals of the 2025 BNL Karting Series season. Hello everybody, welcome back to our final stage of day one out of two. We take a return to the format that was tried and tested for a multitude of years, the double header, which means that every single day is an opportunity to gather points. This is when the first real opportunity for our drivers to score a maximum amount of points in readiness for a championship push. And more to the point also, their opportunity to gain a prestigious and one-of-a-kind opportunity to race at the Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals, which this year take place at the Bahrain International Karting Circuit in early December this year. Well, there's been a lot going on, a whole host of races, 14 so far today, and we whittle it down to the final four. Some drivers will have to wait for their time to shine tomorrow, and thereby it's a time to reflect, look at what could have been, and refocus on tomorrow. But there, as you see on your screens, is the dummy grid. And there is a lot of anticipation as we are about set and ready for our first of four finals. And the first final being that for DD2 and DD2 Masters. So, there is your assembled grid, ready and waiting. It's the proverbial calm before the storm. So the engines fire up into life, and row by row, driver by driver, they head out onto the circuit. It's the first of four finals here this afternoon on International Women's Day here on the 8th of March 2025. Here is your starting grid for the DD2 DD2 Masters Day 1 final. On pole position should be as follows. I'm just keeping an eye on the live timing, which is what has been my rudimentary side of things. It is going to be Sem Knopfius on pole position. Frederick Zebis will be alongside on the front row. Knopfius starting from pole. Antoine Babahu and William Norbeek will be on row 2. Nikolai Christensen, the DD2 Masters wonder that can compete with the younger drivers on the field. He starts P5, and he's got Cosimo Francesco Durante alongside on row number 3. Lawrence Herboz and Wood Kirstens. Row 4 completing the top 10. Hannes Morin and Nicolas Guillaume. Then we've got Christophe Capitain and Tino Agesov rounding out the very next row. Row 6, Dmitry Ostrovsky and Axel Hoos. Row 7, Ronnie Göttler and Brandon Klein-Nagelvort round out your top 8 rows. Completing the top 20, 404 of William Christensen, the 560 of Jonathan Wimmel, the 555 of Christoph Adams, and the 450 of Kian de Brandt. Rounding out the 24 strong, it's the 515 of Jonathan Morin. Michael Becker in the 550 rounds out 22nd. ahead of Jeremy Brasler from France and Rudis Klavins from Latvia. Drivers blipping the throttle, helping the oil circulate around the 125cc Rotax Max Evo engines as they've passed the point of no return. The action kickstarts again at 11:03 local time tomorrow morning. But it's time to go racing in the first of 4 finals in DD2 and Masters. Through the final couple of corners, it's time to get ready. Revs up, lights on. And the lights are out. We're underway. Good start from our pole sitter, Sam Knopfiers, as Antoine Barberou leads, follows in his footstep. Nikolai Christensen has got himself, I think, just around the outside of, I think it was Frederick Zebis. And Christensen is now up to a genuine P3 on the Birrell. And now they head through down the Europalan for the first time. So 15 minutes plus an additional lap of DD2 and DD2 Masters action. And, well, early doors it's the two at the front. Knopfiers versus Babahu. Dams Racing versus RM Concept. With RS Competition throwing a master into the mix. And then, well, you've got the Dane train. You've got a master in front of a DD2. So you've got Nikolai Christensen ahead of Frederick Zebis. So Knopfiers leads after the opening lap. Babahu looking for the possible move to dive up the inside through into turn 1. And the Frenchman has to hold station for the meantime. Now they head into turn 5. And Zebis gets through on Nikolai Christensen. Christensen looks over his right shoulder. Babahu right in the wheel tracks into turn 6 and 7. Behind Sem Knopfiers. So the first minute and a half has had its fair share of dramas. And good old Hannes Morin. Up 4 places. Make that 3 because he's just been overtaken by Cosimo Dorante. But Morin is a very, very experienced driver. But he's coming under fire at the moment. He's got Lawrence Herboz not too far behind him. Knopfiers still leads. Second is Babahu. Third is Zebis. Christensen leads Masters by 6 places. He's got 5 other drivers. He's got Cosimo Durante, Hannes Morin, Lawrence Herboz, Wout Kerstens and Nicolas Guillaume between himself and, more to the point, his chief rival. And that is Christophe Capitan, Christophe Adams, holding station in 19th overall. 5th in Masters. Meantime, the top 4 are line astern. And now, throw into that Cosimo Durante, Hannes Morin, Lawrence Herboz, Wout Kerstens. That's the top 9 within 1.4 seconds. And at the minute, Knopfiers is keeping everybody else at bay. He's backing it up. And then, well, on Lawrence Herboz, that's Wout Kerstens that gets through. Hannes Morin, new fastest lap of the race. 54.87 for Babaru, trying to force the move up the inside. And now he's got Zebis to his immediate right. Hannes Morin is going to take full advantage of this. And Morin's up to 3rd. Christensen 2nd. Everyone caught napping when Christensen and Morrison tag teamed the lot of them. That is why I am so happy a 2-time European champion is back in the fold. And more to the point, he's going to give everyone everything. He's going to basically give them more than just, well, it's going to be everything, including the kitchen sink and maybe the industrial kitchen sink that he needs to bring along from the workshop. Perfection by Hannes Morin, but we ain't done yet, folks. Not by a long shot, as Kian de Brandt closing in on 13th spot. That's currently being occupied by Axel Hoos, who's got William Christensen right in front of him, front and centre. But the battle at the front is really going to start heating up, because Antoine Barberou has closed in on Hannes Morin for that third place. It's a game of strategy now. You want to keep your tyres within the window. You don't want to push them through too much abuse too quickly. Antoine Barberou is starting to fight back as we complete 1/5 of the timer. We're down to just under 10 minutes plus an additional lap. And Zem Knopfjes trying to scarper away. He's got a 6/10 of a second advantage over Nikolai Christensen. Hannes Morin rounds out your top three, followed by the fast Frenchman, Antoine Barberou. And right behind them, is that Wout Kerstens? I think that might be. Oh! And that was the 4:05 going into the back. It's William Nordbeck into the back of Nico Guillaume. And Guillaume's been involved in another incident again. It's not gone well for the 444. And Barberou finally pulls the trigger, dives up the inside of Hannes Morin at turn 1, and retakes third place from the Swede. Sam Knopfjes puts in the fastest lap of the race. 54.507. So 8 minutes and 45 seconds to go, plus an additional lap. Wout Kerstens has Frederick Zebis up the inside of him. So Zebis through for what is 5th place overall. But there's still a long way to go and a short time to get there. Oh, now, someone has just lost their front bumper. That looks to be Lawrence Herbose, I believe, going old school. That's an instant mechanical black flag for the 498. And as I say that, that is now initiated on the Digi flag above the start-finish line. So Lawrence Herbose, it kind of reminds me of when the BNL went to Austrical one year and Morgan Riche decided to make a slight comeback, and he ended up with no front bumper. As, oh no! A touch between 468 Wout Kerstens and Cosimo Durante, and the former gets turned around, I'm afraid. And that was going into turn number 10. Meantime, Antoine Barberou gets through on Nikolai Christensen. And that is for second overall, Hannes Morin. Well, he's still, well, like they say, it's a bit like riding a bike. Once you do it, you don't forget. It's like setting fastest laps. And Hannes Morin, new fastest lap of the race, 54.468 by the Swede. But we are past the halfway point. Also, if people might remember, Hannes Morin is also a former Dan Holland Racing alumni. You add to that list another name that has competed in the BNL Karting Series and also the Euro Trophy. Jordan Brown Nutley is a name I remember way back when, back in 2018. William Nordbeek now is the fastest driver out on circuit. So Jonathan Wimore out, Nicolas Guillaume out, Now, has the 498 of Lawrence Herboz actually pitted yet? Not seen the driver come into pit lane. Sam Knopfler's making his way down towards the final couple of corners. Lawrence Herboz now parks it. So there may have been inadvertent contact somewhere on the circuit, and he lost his front bumper. So Knopfler leads with 5 minutes and 45 to go, plus an additional lap. Head of Antoine Babou, Hannes Morin in P3, Frederick Zebis in P4, Nikolai Christensen P5. Another new fastest lap by the race leader, 54.329. Nikolai Christensen still leading in Masters. So a good run there by the 517. Robert, the guinea pig trial on the beer lot is working. So, yeah, but good to see Nikolai using something else. I mean, normally RS competition will use an OTK. We're into the final third of this race, and, well, Lawrence Herboz has parked it in the pit lane, so that is it. Unfortunately for Lawrence Herboz, will be classified at the bottom part of the DD2 side of things. And, oh, Tino Egeskov has just come in, I believe. The 403. Frederick Zebis, new fastest lap of the race. 54.321. Oh, goodness me, that dusty bin line's just gone into my head again. But, nevertheless, we have a race on our hands. This is the battle for P6 overall. But what's the point? It's P5. Cosimo Durante, William Christensen, Brandon Klein-Nagelvoort, and Axel Hoos involved in that battle. Nagelvoort just got dive-bombed by Christensen just a moment ago. But still time remaining for... that was a very, very stern defence there by the 404 from William Christensen, as Brandon Klein-Nagelvoort tries to close on in and try and get through. Antoine Babou, new fastest lap of the race, 54.240. As these four drivers rounded out by Belgium's Kian de Brandt for the Shapers Racing team, has just got through. But who's looking to dive up the inside through turn 8? Had the run of momentum, but could not save that position from going away from him. We now complete lap number 13. With the pace that we're setting, we're running in the 54.2s. Antoine Babou, another new fastest lap of the race, 54.217, so over a tenth quicker by the man from RM Concept, Morgan Riche's team. But there is Frederick Zebis trying to close on in on the Birolart, the number 415 of Hannes Morin. Two of the Scandinavian countries represented here this weekend. We have also got Norway, don't forget. We have got Norway here. Zebis, you got to do better than that to try and get past Morin. Also, Hannes Morin being part of the Morin Racing Academy set up by Ludwig. Also former alumni of that. Two-time European Senior Road Tax champion. No longer competing these days. Matilda Olsson. But Morin doing exactly what he does really, really well. You know, if he's not in an attacking position, you can definitely count on Hannes Morin to really defend his place to the hilt. But Zebis is going to dive up the inside. Can Morin get the cross back? He might have an opportunity. Maybe he could let Nikolai Christensen catch the pair of them and go, well, Nikolai, I'll let you go through first, mate. Oh, there we go. Cheeky wave. Not as cheeky as Callum Bradshaw's wave at Kart Masters a couple of years back that sent Henry Baudet into a fit of comedic cooeys, let's say. But we will have, I think, 3 laps to go, including this one that we're on now. bringing us to a total distance of 18 laps in totality. So Sam Knopfler's leading Antoine Barbaroux. It's going to be the battle between them that really is going to come to the form as we hit the home stretch for these drivers. As you can see, the sun starting to lower a little bit here in the Limburg region. We're literally about 15 minutes away from the Dutch border. Sunset set to take place at 6:30 p.m. local time, as our leaders make their way out of turn 11, now on the run down to 12 and 13. There they are. And Knopfler's and Barbaroux. Gap was 3.5 tenths at the last intermediate. Now it's just under 3 tenths. 2 to go. And Knopfler's doing a stellar job. But does Barbaroux have anything in the tank as we fast approach the business end of this race? Timer hit 0. Next time it is the final lap. And now Barbaroux is right with Knopfler's. Here we go. It's battle game on. Lines have been drawn. Barbaroux looking towards the outside into turn 12. Knopfler's takes the inside line. Is he going to go for the switchback as Barbaroux? No, he's going to stay in the slipstream. Last lap underway. Knopfler's darts to the right-hand side. Barbaroux to the outside. Trying to go for the crisscross. And Barbaroux went for it. And Knopfler's defended. And Barbaroux had to quickly back out of it. Otherwise, there would have been an incident between the pair. And I don't think that Antoine Barbaroux would have been wouldn't be on the Christmas card of Morgan Riche this year after that. But now down into turn 6 and 7. Knopfler's defending. Barbaroux trying to force the window of opportunity to wing itself his way. Out of turn 9. And look at Zebis and Morin. Barbaroux goes to the outside of Cafe Corner at turn 10. It's going to be a dash for the cash, so to speak. And Barbaroux's going to plant it round the outside here at turn 12. Sidewall clash between the pair. And who's going to come through smelling of roses? It's Sam Knopfler's. Sam Knopfler's takes the first win of the season in a final. And it came down to 68 thousandths. And my good friend David Sullivan. Hello, mates. Yeah, Barbaroux did a great job to close in that 1 second gap to Knopfler's on that one. He really, really did. But after 18 laps, just under 16 and a half minutes of racing, Sam Knopfler's takes a maximum score going into tomorrow. Antoine Barbaroux, Frederick Zebis and Hannes Morin round out your top 4 overall in the combined result. Nikolai Christensen, well done to that man. Picks up the win in Masters in 5th place. Cosimo Durante, William Christensen, Brandon Klein-Nagelvor, Axel Hoos and Kian de Brandt round out your top 10. The next place DD2 Masters driver, Christophe Capitain, down in 11th, head of Ronnie Göttler. Wout Kerstens, William Norbeck, and then Dimitri Ostrovsky from Germany round out the top 3 in Masters. Then it would be Jeremy Brasler, Michael Becker, Jonathan Morin, and Rudis Klavins. Retirements, Christoph Adams, Tino Egeskov, Lawrence Herboz, Nicolas Guillaume, and Jonathan Wemo. And Roger Young, yes, wait until Barbaroux's a Masters driver in a few years' time. But there we go, the DD2 and DD2 Masters drivers that made it to the checkered after 18 laps can now take a little bit of respite and get themselves readied for tomorrow. And DD2 Masters action time qualifying for them will be at 10:43 local time. Their first race, which will be the qualifying heat, won't take place until 11 minutes past 12 tomorrow. So there you see the circuit in all its relevant glory. The clockwise home of champions, 1,360 metres and it's going to be 13 corners in total, including the famed Europolan between turns 5 and 6. Now, all results that have been called by myself over the course of today and will be the same tomorrow will be provisional pending any sporting checks. So very shortly we'll be getting back underway, because up next it's the mini and mini rookie final, and on cue there they are. 36 drivers made it to this point as we go straight in for their first final of the 2025 season. So let's have a look at the grid. It's going to be Riley Morrow on pole position. He'll be joined alongside by Max Jolly. Top 6 have been locked out by drivers from the United Kingdom. Austin Aman lines up on 3rd and will be joined on row 2 by Austin Gibson. Tom Reed will start on the inside of row 3, will be joined by Benediktas Masiokas. Finn Albert Jorgensen from Denmark will line up on the inside of row 4 and be joined by Belgium's Lewis Boots. Completing your top 10, well, it's a fourth row out of the top 5 that have been secured by UK drivers. Harry Radcliffe and Leo Livings complete that row. Alfie Mayer, Mick Klinkers, Matthias Verreken, Andreas Jaderup, Victor Reutz, Paul Dussard, Jensen Walker, Tiger Holdhausen, Tristan Abeels, and Germany's Dimitar Lazarov round out your top 20. Cian Hay starts on the inside of row number 11 alongside Jeff Verbeek, with Harris Barber and Conrad Doyle on row 12. Row 13, Klaus Hans and Ryan Ramper-Darath. Row 14, Marc-André Quesada from France and Belgium's Dejan Habits. Amelie Davy from the United Kingdom, joined by Belgium's Leon Herboz, complete your top 30. 18 rows in total. Anton Christensen, Arlo Gamble, Noah Stehauder and Ralf Rakaitis round out your 36 strong grid. So 39 drivers in total. 3 did not make it through: Miller de Galsmaker, Philippe Massad and Malte Holm, I'm afraid. When we go to seniors a little bit later on, and also juniors very shortly, the intermediate classification, well, with juniors, it's going to be 18 drivers that did not make it through to the top 36 final. And then for seniors, 24. Right, 12 minutes plus an additional lap still for these drivers. Who will put their name down as the first race winner in a point-scoring situation in 2025? Give us about 13 and a half minutes and we'll tell the story as it plays out before our very eyes. If you're watching on the BNL Karting Series YouTube channel and Facebook page, thank you for having joined us all the way through the day. We've still got this and 2 more races to go as the drivers at a slow crawl come out of the final couple of corners. As now we're going to be revs up, lights on, and it's a full start. We're going around for another formation lap. So a little bit of nerves settling in with our young drivers. So Minimax rookie, aged between 7 and 9. Minimax 10 to 13. Drivers must weigh no less than 115 kilograms, including the kart. And the slick tyres of choice, courtesy of Mojo, the C2 CIK Mini for both classes. So Riley Morrow gave himself the perfect opportunity by winning Heat 1 and Heat 3. Max Jolly could have had double bubble as well, but he ended up finishing second in the head-to-head battle in Heat 3 earlier on. But now, this is the real crucial point of any race day, the final, where you pick up your points. Best 6 out of 8 scores go towards each driver's tally. You get an exclusion or a disqualification, that goes towards your tally. So the drivers now make their way towards the point of no return. Proceedings overlooked by race director Manuel Branco. So once again, this looks very well tightly packed. Looks very neat and tidy. Cross the T's and dot the I's. And then when the lights go out, it's time to go racing. For the second time of asking, we are revs up, lights on. And the red lights did not extinguish on the start-finish straight. So a technical issue on the start-finish straight. The red lights did not go out. They have just extinguished now. But, oh, we've had a couple go off. Yellow flags at Marshall Post 2. One of which is just... And we've had a red flag because of the technical issue. So red flag has been called. We are going to have to do a full restart of the race. And, well, I have seen... there is a red flag for possibly another reason. I can see at turn 4. So red flag has been called. So red flag has been called. So red flag has been called at 11 minutes and 44. Well, effectively, 11 minutes and 44 seconds. Red flag instantly brandished. So the field makes its way. So we have a red flag. We are going to have a delay here, folks. So red flag stoppage in the mini and mini rookie final. So they will be stopped just before the start-finish line. So because we were in the first lap of racing, that will be effectively... sometimes that can happen, that the button is pressed for the red lights to go out and the red lights do not extinguish. So we had a full start. So what they will do is to put them into their respective order, starting order that is. So if it happens within the first 2 laps that we have something that brings the condition about for a red flag, then they will do a full restart from 12 minutes plus an additional lap, which means they'll get 1 formation lap to go around the circuit. So everyone being told where to go. So at least everyone is in their customary position. Got very, very close at some points on that opening lap. But that's one thing that we don't, when there's a technical issue, on safety grounds, you would rather play it safe than for, goodness forbid, anything to happen. So red flag stoppage here in the first final of the weekend for Mini and Mini Rookie, as we're set to have a full restart with us resetting the timer back to 12 minutes plus a lap very shortly. So we are underway with a formation lap ahead of 12 minutes plus 1 lap of racing. Drivers not having broken the timing beam: Benedictas Masiokas, Jensen Walker, and I think also Dejan Habits, I believe. Drivers now, well, no, Benedictas Masiokas has gone through, but Jensen Walker and Dejan Habits, 2 drivers. I know that there was a cart being carted off of Marshall Post 3 heading into turn 5. But it is going to be Riley Morrow and Max Jolly at the sharp end of the field. So full restart here for the Mini and Mini Rookie Final, which puts us slightly behind schedule, but obviously you can't help these things from happening. But it is going to be down to Riley Morrow and Max Jolly to control the pace coming out of the 12th and 13th corners, the last 2 corners on the circuit. So you can hear the engines. If you're here at the track, you can probably smell the fuel that they're burning off. And also the smell of rubber in the air, the amounts of marbles that have been left on the outside of the racing line. As they come through the final couple of corners. Could this be? We go, ready and racing. Third time, revs up, lights on, and we are green. We're underway. And straight away, bit of a hip check between Riley Morrow and Max Jolly. Little clash between the pair. But looks like Jolly might have lost out as they go through into turn 2, into 3, into 4. There's a scramble all the way up and down the order. As one carts get turned around. That's the 133. Ryan Rampadarath gets a slight touch from behind, and he pirouettes into the opposite direction in the middle of the apex. I think he might have just caught the... Well, he might have been assisted, but it looks like the front wheel hooks onto the divot on the inside of the curbing, and that was it. He was around. So it sounds like the proverbial hornet's nest. That's right. That's the Rotax roar. As we come out of the final corner, lap 1 in the books. Riley Morrow, Austin Oman lead the way. As Leo Living's wearing the good old KR Sport white suit, normally reserved for finals or finals days. And he is closing. He's got past Victor Reutz. He's now closing in on Harry Radcliffe. So just under 10 and a half minutes to go. And I'm not too sure if there might have been a little bit of bumper rubbing there, but Austin Oman drifted wide coming out of turn number 8. And Jolly gets through for second. Tom Reed for SFR. And Austin Gibson from SPR Motorsport. But there was an incident through into turn number 10. I think that was Tygo Holthausen caught up in the middle of all of that. And it was with... I'm not too sure. Well, Tygo Holthausen has tumbled. So that is a real shame. Another Dutch driver caught up in the crossfire, so to speak. Meantime, Max Jolly now... Is he leading? Yes, he is. So, Jolly leads ahead of... That is Oman and Morrow. Morrow trying to go through. Careful. The 2 teammates do not need to start fighting amongst themselves, because that is the current reaction... The current chain reaction that happens as a result of it. Tom Reed now up into P3. Riley Morrow now down to 4th. He's ahead of teammate Austin Gibson. Finn Albert Jorgensen from Denmark. the youngster on the OTK could capitalise. And there goes Tom Reed on Austin Aman up the inside through at turn number 3. Oh, that was a close your eyes moment between Austin, I think that was Riley Morrow and Austin Gibson. Oh, that was close. That was so close. Adam Matiak cheering on Victor Reutz. He's currently sitting in 10th spot at the minute. He's up 5 places. Biggest mover of the day in this final so far, Anton Christensen, is now up 11 places and looks to make hay whilst the sun continues to shine. We're 2 minutes away from the halfway point of this race. And at the moment, Max Jolly is leading. Tom Reed, P2. Riley Morrow, new fastest lap in 3rd. 59.457 for the 122 for Sam Pollitt Racing. And now the chase after the man known as Max Jolly at the front end of the field begins right now. Tom Reed, however, is on a tear. He's binging on pure flat-out speed, and he's just gone nearly 2 tenths quicker than Jolly in front of him. So it's Strawberry Racing leading SFR, leading Sam Pollitt Racing. Well, Austin, the two Austins, Austin Gibson and Austin Oman, round out the top 5. Lewis Boots now ahead of Finn Albert Jorgensen, who's going to dive to the inside here at turn 1. And the Dane gets through. Tom Reed. Now, when, not if, will he pull the trigger and get through? He's just put in the new fastest lap of the race again. 59.241. And a nice little chat with his dad, James, earlier on today. Austin Oman has gone purple in sector number 1. But look how close Tom Reed and Riley Morrow are to Max Jolly. So it's how the 116 copes with the pressure cooker furnace of the 2 drivers behind that's closing in on him. So we hit half time. We hit 6 laps in the books. 0.409 seconds was the gap between 1st and 3rd. Austin Oman in 4th, fastest overall in sector 1. Riley Morrow, fastest overall in sector 2. Austin Gibson in the 152, who rounds out the top 5 right on the back of Austin Oman, was the fastest overall in sector 3. And look at that formation between the top 3 with 5.5 minutes to go, plus an additional lap. Tom Reed is waiting. Now, effectively, for those people watching, this is where it starts. Reed and Morrow get through on Jolly at turn 10. Now, with 5 minutes to go, it's like a cadet race or a minim race. This is where drivers will decide, do I want to lead? Do I want to be second? Or do I want to be at the back of the train? And every driver will have a preference. And very much the case is Max Jolly wants to make sure he's in the right place at the right time. He dives towards the inside of Riley Morrow heading into turn number 6 and 7. However, it's just to show his nose. It's like playing peekaboo with bumpers on carts. So into turn 10, the top 3 go. You cannot separate them. They were just under 0.2 of a second apart last time around when we completed lap 7. Now lap 8. I can tell you this, fireworks could start to fly after when we go into the penultimate lap. And now a change for lead. Pole sitter Riley Morrow now back where he started this race just over 8 minutes and a quarter ago. But you cannot deny that these three, they are putting on a clinic of how to race hard, how to race fair, and Jolly gets through on Reed at turn 8. That's second. And what Riley Morrow is wanting to try and achieve is to pull away and create a gap that neither of the drivers behind him can close in. But look at the 5 drivers, the quintet, the chasing pack, the chasing peloton. That's being led by Austin Amman, who's got Austin Gibson, Finn Albert Jorgensen, Lewis Boots, and Harry Radcliffe. Now the gap between Tom Reed and Austin Amman at the last split, when we completed the lap, was 1.1 seconds. It's now gone up. So just over 0.42 of a second covers our top 3. They have been nip and tuck. Now Jolly is starting to become the aggressor. Morrow now having to defend down into turns 12 and 13. The gantry filled as that was a little bit of a drift there from Riley Morrow coming out of turn 12. And now Jolly is right on his rear bumper. Jolly trying to dive to the inside, but a cut across the nose of Jolly by Riley Morrow means the 122 from Sam Pollitt Racing keeps a hold of the race lead. When we go on to the penultimate lap, you can bet your bottom dollar the gloves will be off. Drivers we've lost: Ralph Rakaitis, Benedictas Masiokas, Jensen Walker, and also a non-starter in the form of Dejan Habits, who did take the original start before we had the red flag. But we could be very, very close to having a fantastic finale for Minis. As up the inside, through at turn 12, Jolly retakes the lead, leaves the door open. Morrow goes through, Jolly and Reed go side by side down the start-finish straight. We're going to have 2 more laps remaining. We're on lap 12 out of a projected 13 completed laps of this 1.36 kilometre circuit. And unfortunately, Laurens van Vlaanderen has fallen by the wayside. Jolly still forcing the issue with Riley Morrow down the Europalan. And did Jolly get through? He did by millimetres, threading the eye of the needle. Max Jolly went wheel to wheel, side by side with Riley Morrow through at turn 6. And I don't know how he made it work, but it was absolutely textbook. 4, 3, 2. We've got another lap, have we? Another lap in addition to this. They crossed the timing beam with 1 to 2 seconds remaining. So I did say predicted 13 laps. You can now say it's a confirmed 14 laps of this race. And we are not done yet. So 2 laps to go. And we're nearly halfway through lap number 1. Now, this is where the elbows come out. And it looks like it's going to be between Max Jolly and Riley Morrow and Tom Reed. But the gap between 3rd and 4th is closing. It was 0.93. Whilst that trio have been battling away, the rest behind have started catching them. Last lap is underway. Here we go on lap 14. 2.5 tenths separating first and second. And Jolly has about a kart length and a half lead over Riley Morrow. Tom Reed is there. There's Finn Albert Jorgensen, the youngster from Denmark. He's being chased down by the 111. Well, I think that is the 111. It could be the 113 of Harry Radcliffe. But the final lap is about to come to its inevitable conclusion, and Riley Morrow has got back the race lead. Now the fight begins through turn 10, now into 11. Jolly's got one more shot. He's got to be brave and bold on this one. And now he switches to the outside line to get the crisscross through out of the final corner. Morrow's going to hang on. Morrow's going to hang on, and it's 36 thousandths of the flag. Riley Morrow takes the win after 14 laps by next to nothing. 36 thousandths was the difference between first and second position. So, and get this, Riley Morrow wins, representing the United Kingdom. You're going to see where I'm going with this in a minute. Max Jolly, UK, P2. Tom Reed, same country, P3. And the two Austins, Austin Amman and Austin Gibson, round out the top 5. 3 Sam Pollitt racing karts in the top 3. Finn Albert Jorgensen and Harry Radcliffe round out the top 7. Head of Lewis Boots, Andreas Jellerup and Mick Klinkers rounding out your top 10. Alfie Mayer, Leo Livings, Dimitar Lazarov, Victor Royce, Jeff Verbeek, Matthias Verreken, Harris Barber, Tristan Abils, Marcandia Casada and Klaus Hans round out your top 20. Kian Hay, Leon Herbos, Tiger Holdhouse, Ryan Rampadarath, Arlo Gamble, Anton Christensen, Paul Dussard, Conrad Doyle, Amelie Davey and Noah Stayhouder round at the top 30. 31 finishes with the 118 of Tren van Melk completing the finishing order. Unfortunately, we lost Lawrence van Vlaanderen, Ralf Rakaitis, Benedictus Masiokas, Jensen Walker and Dejan Habits. Well, there are still 2 more races remaining here on day 1. It's been a long day in the office for everybody. But more to the point, next up, it's the top 36 final for Junior Rotax, with action set to take place over 12 minutes plus a lap coming up shortly. So we go live down to the dummy grid ahead of this 12-minute plus 1 additional lap finale. Clean-up operation still underway as we speak, as one of the carts is being pulled in on the back of the recovery vehicle. And there is Vince van der Holle from Belgium, running with Birger Bouvin's team, but Bouvin Power. So track has just been declared clear. So engines fired up. And the drivers make their way out onto the circuit for the top 36 Junior Road Tax Final here on day one. Here's your starting grid. Pole position from Belgium, Vince van der Halle. Alongside him, the reigning and defending champion. 2 titles secured in the last 2 years. Minimax champion in 2023. Junior Road Tax champion last year. Jacob Ashcroft on the front row. Max Sadurski and Boris Maximov make it an all-Dutch row number 2. Shun Sekaguchi from Japan and the pride of Northern Ireland, Rory Armstrong, line up on row 3. Isaac Barker and Ryan Gandor round out row 4 with Harry Freeman and Francis Lenny Hobiolagash rounding out the top 10. Luca Van Leer and Ethan Griffiths on row 6. Lars Lambers and Noah Barham row 7. Louis Radcliffe and Christian Sejersen row 8. Mate Kobahidze and Boris Verhaag round out row 9, completing the top 20. Alex Goodson and Turkey's Erin Unludogan. Row 11, Mason Bjerring and Storm van Rossum for Denmark and the Netherlands. Vadim Blankenberg and Latvia's Jack Collinson round out the top 12 rows ahead of Lucas Lauder, Lieke van Berkel, Ludwig Hansson, Andrea Lavazza, Nicolas Machon and Sebastian Lersch rounding out the top 30. Completing the 30-strong grid is as follows. Thomas Verheyen, Lionel Oliver Munguia, Justin Funk, Fredrik Flood Engebretts, Hanna Kreitz from Sweden and Ryan Rivers. So the red lights are on the starting gantry for the penultimate time here on day 1 out of 2. So points scored in the finals on every single day. We have a final for all the classes at the end of every single day, meaning everyone has 8 opportunities to score. Best 6 go towards their tally. So the drivers make their way through the final couple of corners. Red lights on the gantry. It's Van der Halle versus Ashcroft on the front row. We are revs up, lights out, and we are underway. Good start from Van der Halle. Ashcroft has to bide his time. He keeps it round the outside of Max Sadurski. As someone goes off very exit stage left, coming out of turn number 2. Everyone trying to get through. And we've had a bit of a tangle. One backwards and around. That was I think that was the 280. I think that was Lieke van Berkel. And that is the 282. Thomas Verheyen. But then the swarm at the front end of the field at the minute is Linus Cern. Van der Halle leads. 2nd, Ashcroft. 3rd, Sadurski. 4th, Sekaguchi from Japan. One of the GKS carts went a little bit awry there. Trying to pick out the number. And it looks like, it could be Nicolas Machon, possibly. Mate Kobahidze, the Georgian in the 244 from DHR. He's trying to make some progress. He's already up 3 spots and is currently running in P14 behind Louis Radcliffe, behind Christian Sejersen. And it's all drivers for themselves. Sadurski gets through on Ashcroft. And there is the 268 of County Down's very own Rory Armstrong. He's right he's right in front of Boris Maximov. Rory's been getting to know ex-F1 driver Eddie Irvine very well, as Eddie owns a sports complex and an indoor karting track not too far behind. And Sekaguchi, absolutely ruthless to get through at the inside. And Armstrong has decided, now's my opportunity. Luca Van Leer gets a slap on the wrist as we've got 2 out, 1 on top the other. That's Justin Funk and Lionel Munguia, I'm afraid, out of turn 12. And Machon is quite clearly unhappy. And then there's the pointing of fingers. The body language tells the story. And I'm sure the air is blue underneath each race visor as well. However, the battle at the front end of the field. There are yellow flags, so no overtaking. Good choice there by Shun Sekaguchi to not get through on Jacob Ashcroft. Black and white warning flag. Slap on the wrist for Boaz Maximov. Meantime, into turn 1, Van der Hollen gets dive bombed by Max Swiderski, who gets through. Now, Sekaguchi, who's just set the new fastest lap of the race, has put in a 57.304, is chasing down Van der Halle. He's bringing Ashcroft with him. Van der Halle is concentrating more on Swiderski. He's also got to have eyes in the back of his head with regards to Sekaguchi and Ashcroft behind him. Adi de Jong saying, "Come up, Luca." That's Luca Van Leer, I'm sure. And Sekaguchi just trying to, went from side to side in front of Ashcroft. Not to distract Jacob, but more to the point to carry the momentum through turn 10. And now Van der Halle has an opportunity. And he gets through on Swiderski as we start lap number 5. We're gonna save more fireworks until the end of this very day, because what's happening next, folks? Senior Rotax, 15-minute top 36 final. Ethan Griffiths now holds the new fastest lap of the race, so 57.084, as the battles are carrying on thick and fast. And is that now right? Let's just see. Up into 5th place from 8th on the grid, Ryan Gandor has now made it 4th. He's just got through on Jacob Ashcroft. So Armstrong behind Ashcroft now has Maximov for company. Then there's Harry Freeman. Nearly a slight clash between Van der Halle and Swiderski. Swiderski takes the lead. Sekaguchi now follows behind him in 2nd. Five minutes down, 7 plus an additional lap to go. And the top 11 rounded out by the United Kingdom's Noah Barham. Last time were covered by just under 1.2 seconds. Which means any one of the top 11 have an opportunity, have a chance to win this race and put the maximum amount of points on the board ahead of resting for tomorrow. And Van der Halle is dropping down the field. Gandor's up to 3rd. Ashcroft 4th. Armstrong 5th. And Harry Freeman is there waiting in the wings. Freeman's got through on Maximov. And now as we go past the halfway point of this race, Shun Sekaguchi trying to banzai round the outside. He thought of it. He said, well, other people are doing it. I've got to give it a go. And Luca Van Leer, down in 12th, puts in the new fastest lap of the race. But Shun Sekaguchi has got to watch out for what's behind him, because you've got a charging Canadian, someone from the UK, someone from the UK via way of Northern Ireland, and then you've got 2 Belgians and another Brit there for good measure. Mistake there by Sekaguchi. Sekaguchi went deep into turn 9, and that allowed Gandor to get through. So did Ashcroft. And now at the back end of this train, we have 1st to 12th all in a line. And now the scramble starts. Armstrong up the inside of Sekaguchi. 3 wide as they come across the line. It's going to be about who's going to be the latest on the brakes. And now it's really all for themselves. Everyone trying not to use that runoff area. Coming out of turn number 1. And oh no, off and over. Oh my goodness me, that was the 2:13. Noah Barham went for a ride that he did not expect. There was contact, he was up and over the front Nassau and the front bumper of somebody else through turn 3. They went straight on, and luckily enough Noah Barham had the presence of mind to slam on the anchors and get himself back on to the right direction on the track. But folks, we ain't done yet. We've still got 4 minutes, plus an additional lap still remaining on the timer. The battle at the front end of the field is now between Mad Max Swiderski, Jacob Ashcroft and Vince van der Halle. Keep your eyes on a dark horse or two in this race, and I'm talking about the drivers in 4th and 5th. I'm talking about Harry Freeman and Rory Armstrong. Boris Maximov now up to 6th. Ryan Gandor, Shun Sekaguchi. Ethan Griffiths now up into 9th, head of Lance Lambers. And we have lost some drivers, I'm afraid. Thomas Verheyen, Lionel Munguia, Justin Funk, Mate Kobehidze and Jack Robinson, the last 2 drivers that have just retired from the race. And now Swiderski is the cork in the bottle once again. Ashcroft hounding him. And the gap was 0.079 between them. There's there's Freeman as well behind van der Halle, who's holding station in the middle of this 6-cart train. Harry Freeman is there. Rory Armstrong is there. There's Boris Maximov. And now Freeman goes defensive on Armstrong, heading into turn number 6 and 7. Now is there a window of opportunity for someone to thread the eye of the needle and make a move? Because if Max Swiderski keeps a hold of that race lead, he can control the pace. And Ryan Gandor has just pulled away from the train behind him. And now change for the lead. Ashcroft through. Van der Halle through. Swiderski down to 3rd. And now Swiderski trying to go up the inside through at turn 1, and he gets through on Vince van der Halle. Boris Maximov now trying to go up the inside, gets through on Rory Armstrong. Harry Freeman is there, and so is his KR Sport teammate. So Ryan Gandor re-enters the multitudinal fight in terms of aspect and drivers involved. But Ashcroft now is going to start pulling away. He's got about a kart length and a half, maybe a 2-kart length lead over Max Swiderski, who is having to fight tooth and nail with Vince van der Halle. Boris Maximov is not that far behind. Neither is Harry Freeman. Neither Rory Armstrong. Neither Ryan Gandor. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if you're going to see the likes of Ethan Griffiths, Shun Sekaguchi. As, Ethan Griffiths drops down to 15th as 236 has just got a 5-second time penalty. And that's Sebastian Loesch, I'm afraid. But we're down into the final 60 seconds of this race, and nothing is settled yet, apart from possibly first. If you've got at least a half-second lead, make that 0.665 seconds lead for Jacob Ashcroft. Max Swiderski, you're going to have to watch your 6 for the next 2 laps and a bit, because the cavalry is coming. Good work by Alex Goodson and Erin Undlodogan, the 2 from Dan Holland Racing. They're up now to 9th, well, 9th for Undlodogan and Goodson now up into 10th. But Ashcroft now, his lead is 8.5 tenths of a second. The timer hit 0. Trying to go up the inside of Ryan Gandor. That's Boris Maximov. That's the battle for P5. There's all a little bit of a wheel clash. That was left rear, right front between Vince van der Holle and Max Swiderski. But it's done enough. It's broken. It's broken the cycle. So Jacob Ashcroft makes his way into turns 12 and 13 for the final time. Still battles going on a little bit further back, but 1.36 kilometres to go. Ashcroft leads by nigh on a second. But a disaster it looks like for Rory Armstrong, I'm afraid. He's dropped all the way down to 24th on what was such a possible top 5 run. And there is, well, that's the triple two, Unlodogan. And the Dan Holland Racing teammates, they need to be careful if they squabble between themselves. Because if one of them takes them all out, you can bet your bottom dollar that's going to be a difficult debrief with team owner Dan Holland himself. But one of the DHR drivers comes back to winning ways. He picked up the title last year and he puts the first victory in his back pocket. Ashcroft takes the win here on day one in the final. Second, Vince van der Holle. And third, make that 3 different nations in the top 3. The United Kingdom, Belgium, and courtesy of the Netherlands, Max Swiderski rounds out your top 3. Welcome to the show, Harry Freeman. 9th to 4th, Lars Lambers. 13th to 5th, Ryan Gandor. 8th to 6th. It was looking so promising for Japan's Shun Sakaguchi. But I'm sure that samurai spirit inside that youngster will be back in full effect tomorrow. Alex Goodson and Erin Unlodogan, the 2 DHR teammates, round out your top 9. They both made up 11 places apiece. Christian Sayerson completes the top 10 ahead of Luca Van Leer, Boaz Maximov, Ethan Griffiths, Frederick Flood Engelbretts with the most amount of places gained in this final. 34th to 14th. Lucas Storder, 25th to 15th. Andrea Lavazza, complimenti, 28th to 16th. Boris Verhaag, Lenny Rubio Lagash, Ryan Rivers, 30th. I can't believe I'm going to say this. Ryan Rivers, stone dead last to 19th. Noah Barham rounds out the top 20, followed by Lieke van Berkel, Sebastian Lersch, Hannah Kreitz, Rory Armstrong, Isaac Barker, Nicolas Machon, Ludwig Hansson, Bodine Blankenberg, Mason Yering, Storm van Rossum, and Louis Radcliffe rounding out the 31 finishers. Unfortunately, we lost Mate Kobehidze, Jack Collison et al. But up next, it's the big grandstand finale for day 1 of the 2025 season. Up next, it's the final for the top 36 in Senior Max. .60 drivers came into this weekend hoping for an opportunity to be in the top 36, which meant after the 6 qualifying heats, 24 drivers will have to wait for their second attempt tomorrow. But these 36 are now battling for championship points. This is one of the most coveted titles in the BNL karting series. And when I mention the honour roll list, Niklas Clays, Barry Thornfleet, Philip Morin, Vincent Joel, Oliver Askew, Glenn Van Parijs, Dylan LaHaye, Joe Turney, Sean Butcher, Luca Lystra, Kai Gilletz, Kai Hunter, and last year the title went to the Netherlands courtesy of Jaden Teen, who was on an absolute tear in senior Rotax last season. So the drivers make their way out onto the circuit for the 15-minute plus an additional lap finale for day one. Here is your starting grid. On pole position, it's Ollie Jonkers, and he'll be joined by countryman and rival Sverre Ubben on the front row. Bastian Mesnil and Latvia's Artyom Sestakovs round out the second row. Sebastian Koch and Robbie Stauder round out row 3. Italy's Gianmarco Cortopassi rounds out the inside of row 4. He'll be joined by a very fast Frenchman in the form of Tom Langlois. Simon Perigny and Switzerland's Tino Sidler round out your top 10. Mateo Dankovic and Jack West round out row 6. Row 7, representing the Star-Spangled Banner of the United States of America, Charlie Smith. He's got Lewis Goff alongside him on row 7. Sasha M and Robans Rodinovs ran out row 8 with Ollie Wise and Jort van Wyk completing row 9, rounding out your top 20 as we go on to the official formation lap. Days van Wyk and Alex Aim. Arnold Sabarin for Canada joins Jay Zurveld on row 11. Row 12, Adrien Steens and Ryan Bourguignon. Row 13, Matthias Jaderup and William Pemble. Row 14, Armand Hamilton and Cameron Nelson. Completing the top 30, it's the Demants, Frederick and Benjamin lining up on row 15 with Magnus Brandt, Lado Kohenidze, Francisek Sulema, Macaulay Bishop, Theo Lemoine and Alexander Lemaire bringing up an all-French final row. I hope you've got your popcorn and your favourite drink of choice by your side, because, believe you me, you're going to need it. 15 minutes plus an additional lap as the sun starts to lower ahead of sunset in just a little over an hour and 25 minutes time. As we go, revs up, lights on, lights are out, and we're underway. And a good start from Ollie Jonkers from the front row of the grid. Sverre Ubben looking to the outside, early doors. Bastien Mesnil trying to get through. Everyone trying to get through. Has the whole entire 36-strong grid made it through? Not quite. We've had one go off, and that was at turn 3. Oh, and now what's going to happen? Oh, dear. It's like someone's slowing. And that is the 349. 349 slowing down the back straightaway down the Europalan. Jay Zurveld for SR Solutions. But at the minute, it's a 1-2 for Dams Racing. It's Ollie Jonkers, our pole sitter, that is leading the way. 55 points for a win, 52 for second, 50 for third. So Jonkers leads by nearly a tenth and a half by the opening lap. And that's Sebastian Koch, actually, that goes through now, takes the race lead. Robbie Stauder in P3. Tom Langlois, Tino Sidler, ran at your top 5. Magnus Brand has had a drama. So has Frederick and Benjamin Demant, I'm afraid. They have not exactly, they may have people that they're not going to put on their Christmas card list this year. And yes, I know, we're only in March. Still 9 months. Artyom Sestikovs, however, has gone purple in Sector 1. He's being chased down by Charlie Smith. Charlie Smith from the USA has had a rocket ship start. He's already up to P8. So imagine if Charlie Smith, who had a dismal qualifying session, has had a big old... He's decided to take a big old swig of his drink and go for it. Now, it's Adams Racing. 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Sebastian Koch, Tom Lenoir, and Ollie Yonkers. Rounding out your top 3 at the minute. Well, they were at that point. Longlois now leads. Yonkers now second. Koch now third. Stordeur and Sidler round out the top 5. Ryan Bourguignon has already gone up 9 places from 24th on the grid. Oh, that was a tangle between Sidler and Stordeur coming out of turn 9. Front bumper into left rear. And Stordeur managed to hang on to it, so well held. And they've got to be very, very careful. Someone's been left hung out to dry. So it looks like we have got a black and white warning flag going out to one of our drivers. Tia Lemoigne and Franciszek Sulima have dropped down to last and 35th respectively. Macaulay Bishop now has moved his way up 14 spots already. He's up into P20. Armand Hamilton up from 27th to 17th. Bourguignon up from 24th to 14th. Beau Louette. How are you, my friend? Racing with Parolin keeping you busy, I take it. Yep, Beau Louette for now in his 5th year in competition. I hope you and your dad and your mum are doing well. We miss you over here. We really do. Beau Louette qualified for Team Belgium for the Red Devils at the Grand Finals last year. And has now become a Parolin Works driver. So congratulations. Proficiat Junge. But we have 4 minutes completed in this opening final for Senior Rotax for 2025. And, it's getting a bit up close and personal. 333 was Piggy in the middle there. Jort van Wyk. And also to the outside was somebody. I couldn't pick out the number, to be honest with you. So Armand Hamilton going up the order. I think it might have been... and that's a bit slightly off circuit there for 362. So that would have been Roman Zrodyanov's. As Yonkers has got Koch to the inside. And the latter goes through, retakes second. But they need to do something by... Yes, they've got their own agenda. A team boss can say to a set of drivers, yes, race, but no team orders. No team orders means that every driver can think for themselves. But I have seen it before where drivers have been given the opportunity to race, and then it all goes horribly wrong and ends up being put in the wrong cauldron, so to speak. It's like a drink that goes down the wrong pipe in your throat and you start coughing. But 9 minutes and 20 to go. Longlois now has a 7/10 of a second lead. Jack West is making moves. Artyom Sestikovs has dropped down to 13th position. Macaulay Bishop, 34th, now 15th. And 15th nets you 38 points. So Macaulay Bishop getting a little bit of a wriggle on here. And just using his raw talent in terms of grinning and bearing it when it comes to trying to get your carts around the circuit as fast as humanly possible. It is difficult. but there are people that like to be challenged. Meantime, Robbie Stauder was second. Sebastian Koch now retakes the position back through turn 1. So, absolute best sectors. Sector 1, Tino Sidler. Sector 2, Macaulay Bishop. Sector 3, Jack West. And as I say that, Tino Sidler pumps in another new fastest lap of the race. And that was a 55.019 for the younger brother of Mario Sidler. And I know Mario's been doing... Mario and Tino have been racing with a team, I remember. I think it was 54 Squadra Corse, if I remember correctly. Luca Munoretto being a previous part of that team. But Langlois has got things under his thumb at the moment. He's got everything under his finger. And we have got a black and white warning flag. That is for Sasha M. Down in 23rd position. The race isn't going too well after what was a promising set of results in the heats. Artyom Sestakovs, unfortunately, has had a fall from grace that he didn't quite really want or expect. And that now means he's down to 24th, having started in 4th position a little bit earlier on. So we are coming towards the end of the race. Oh, no. Charlie Smith went in a bit too hot there, I think, on Ollie Yonkers. And Yonkers had to take to the runoff area and take to the grass. Well, the thing was, they tried to give... Yeah, I mean, the thing was is that Ollie Yonkers... yeah, I mean, he could have closed that in a little bit more, and maybe Charlie Smith might not have gone for the move. But you give if you don't go for a gap, you're not a racing driver, in the words of the late Ayrton Senna. But Charlie Smith saw that move, in his mind, and went. It was more the case of, I'm going to go for it, see what happens on the other side, and Ollie Yonkers ends up using the runoff area, and then ends up cutting the grass with his tyres. But still, there are battles up and down the order. Charlie Smith is now up 9 places. Can the American move his way into the top 3? There's still 5.5 minutes to go, plus an additional lap in this race. So anything is possible. So Charlie, funnily enough, got a podium in his first ever UK senior race at Paul Fletcher International, being coached currently by world champion and Grand Finals champion Callum Bradshaw. So Callum, along with Mark Kimber, as I said earlier on, both here, both doing a lot of driver coaching. And it's really good to see them passing on their knowledge to the younger drivers. So 4.5 minutes still remain. Langlois leads now by nearly 9/10 of a second. And it is a Dams Racing 1-2 lockout at the minute, courtesy of Sebastian Koch. Then we've got Robbie Stauder, Tino Sidler, Jack West and Charlie Smith. Both have moved up 7 places apiece. So West up from 12th to 5th. Smith up from 13th to 6th. Gianmarco Cortapassi, Ollie Yonkers ran at your top 8. Ryan Bourguignon has come up the field like a silent assassin in the middle of the night. 15 places from 24th, now runs 9th. Simon Perigny, who won on the road but unfortunately was penalised post-race, holds on to 10th. New fastest lap by Matej Radenkovic. Jort van Wyk and Macaulay Bishop ran at your top 12. Top 13. Macaulay Bishop now has made up 21 places. So that just goes to show that qualifying, well, it didn't go his way due to what happened earlier. But he's more than made amends for it. Okay, it's not probably going to be the points haul that he wanted or felt he deserved. But that is why when these kind of things happen, it shows the mental resolve and the determination of these drivers. All are here because they feel they are the best. And Macaulay Bishop, whose talent I have seen blossom over the years, back from the Bambino Kart Club days, Darren Beavers. And I'm talking years ago. I still remember when he was a cadet. Ran as a privateer, won the BKC Winter Cup at Wilton Mill, when everyone else, including drivers such as Lewis Werrell, flew off the circuit. But Mateo Radenkovic, who is holding station in 11th, has just put in the fastest overall best sector of anybody in this race. There's Cortopassi trying to close in on. That's now Charlie Smith in front of him. Tom Langlois started 8th, now in the lead. Sebastian Koch started 5th, now in 2nd. Robbie Stordeur started 6th, now in 3rd. Tino Sidler started 10th, now 4th. Jack West started 12th, now 5th. Charlie Smith started 13th, now 6th. Each one of those drivers in that top 6 I've just mentioned have all gained at least 3 places from their starting position. And still, as the sun is starting to lower in the sky, the clear sky up above, one driver is looking to make their mark. Dams Racing have come into 2025 bringing not just great talent, but solidarity in numbers. Langlois brings us on to lap number 16 with just over a minute on the timer. So we could be looking at 18 laps of total distance. And there is the 314. Tino Sidler gets through for 3rd place on Robbie Stordeur. They've got Jack West not too far behind them. Neither is Charlie Smith. But as we get to the dying moments of this race, it's all for themselves. More importantly, it's for championship points. The leaders now come through into turns 12 and 13. Out of the final corner. 2 laps remain. Mechanical black flag. That is for the 339. Alexander Lemaire has a mechanical black flag. Not too sure what that might be for. I know why. Rear bumper has completely vacated from the chassis. Timer has struck 0 officially. So we just have this and one more lap to go. So the battle for P3 is going to be between 5 drivers. And it's going to be a 1-2 for Dams Racing at the moment. Last lap of the day underway here at Karting Genk for the first day of the 2025 season. And the road to the grand finals in the sands of the Persian Gulf in Bahrain have truly started flowing down the timer in motion. And Sebastian Koch and Tom Langlois, 2nd and 1st respectively, go through turns 6 and 7 at the chicane off of the Europalan for the final time here on lap number 18. Someone had to draw first blood, And I'm so pleased that despite the bad luck this driver had last season, finally the luck has been on his side, because out of the final couple of corners, victoire pour Tom Lenoir. Victory for Tom Lenoir from Dams Racing. And it's a team 1-2. Sebastian Koch takes second. Tino Sidler P3. Jack West takes fourth. Robbie Storder. Charlie Smith. Gianmarco Cortapassi. Ollie Yonkers. Matej Radenkovic and Ryan Bourguignon round out your top 10. Simon Perigny, Macaulay Bishop making up 22 places from 34th on the grid to finish 12th, ahead of Armand Hamilton. Started 27th, finished 13th, ahead of Sverre Ubben. Jort van Wyk rounds out the top 15, ahead of Lewis Goff. Thijs van Wyk, Cameron Nelson making up 10 places from 28th to finish 18th, ahead of Roman Zrodionovs and Bastien Mesnil. Then we had Lado Koenice, Arnold Saborin, William Pemble, Sasha Aim, Benjamin Demant, Matthias Jaderup, Alex Aim, Frederick Demant, Alexander Lemaire, Jay Zervelt, Magnus Brand, Francis Exulima, and Adrien Steons. Theo Lemoyne, Atium Sestakovs, and Ollie Wise were our 3 retirees in that CDM Max final. Well, as the sun is starting to set here at the Home of Champions, 18 races have brought the back to school for BNL vibes here today. You know what? It's a great precursor to how day 2 is going to happen tomorrow. But then from there, we then have to go on to Marienburg in May. And then we come back here in June and September for the final 2 rounds of the season. A big thank you to Dan Pepples, who's going to be joining you all as the commentator for round 2 at Marienburg. A big thank you to him. A big thank you to the stream guys, the team at WFR Live TV. A big thank you, muito obrigado, to the team there. Also, a big thank you to the marshals, timekeeping, stewarding, our stewards panel being provided by the local ASN, the Royal Automobile Club of Belgium, administration, race control, also start-finish, technical, scrutineering, tyre park, also all the drivers, all the families, and everybody that has been watching along here live on the BNL Karting Series YouTube channel and the BNL Karting Series Facebook page. Well, join us tomorrow. We've got another 18 races to go. You won't want to miss it. Until tomorrow, good night for now.